Fala pessoal, olha só, hoje nós vamos ter aí um bate-papo bem rápido, bem legal, com duas feras aí do Death Metal internacional, que fazem parte aí da banda Symphony of Heaven. Nós vamos conversar aí com Pathos e também com o Asaph da Symphony of Heaven. Espero que você goste desse bate-papo. Guys, I would like to thank you for accepting our invitation.
Oh, thank you very much. And we love what Ultimato Underground is doing, and we love Brazil. So thank you very much for having us.
I asked to you both, could you introduce yourself to whoever is watching you?
Yeah, I'm Pathos. I am the founder, and I do vocals and rhythm guitar for Symphony of Heaven. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you can. And I'm Asaph. I'm the drummer. So.
Yes.
Okay. I asked to you about your career in like musician, and when did you start your career in music, Pathos and Asaph?
Well, I started. My mother was a music teacher, so music has run in my family my entire life since the time I can remember. I got into metal in around 7th grade, so around 1998, 1999, I got into Korn. You know, I was getting into like middle school, almost into high school, and like, oh, what's this really cool band all these older kids are listening to? And from there, I discovered, like I said, I got into Korn and kind of some new metal that was popular at the time. Then Metallica, after I saw them in 2000, and really from there, it naturally progressed. I had gotten a guitar, I was a drummer, so anything rhythmic metal that was heavy and hard, I loved it and just went further and further down the rabbit hole until I'm here today, by God's grace.
Yeah, for me it was I started. So I've always wanted to play drums since I was young, but I didn't get the opportunity to do that until I was 13. I had learned piano before that because I was under the impression that they would be similar, how to read the music, and then it turned out they weren't, in my case, at all similar. So around, the same year I started listening to metal as the same year I started to play drums. So it worked out in that way. For me, it was POD was kind of my starting band, and then it progressed into, Living Sacrifice, and slowly into the more mainstream bands like Death and Sepultura, and so that's kind of how it started for me.
Right, very good history. About Symphony of Heaven, how did the idea of creating Symphony of Heaven come about?
Symphony of Heaven, I started that out as a one-man project back in, really it was actually late 2016, early 2017 is when the things really started to take shape. So I had bought a small interface, and I had a laptop, and I had made music on my computer years and years before that with old Cakewalk software. Never really went in or did anything with it, but I eventually had the time and a little bit more of the knowledge to be able to figure out how to do it. And so I just started writing, and I eventually made an album and released it through Nozzle Recordings, which was Mike Larson from Frost Like Ashes, and got to know him. Great dude, good friend of ours. And then after that, it naturally progressed. I met Asaph over the internet, found out he was a drummer. We got together and jammed, and he was really, really good. And I was like, I got me a drummer, so I can turn this into an actual band now. Yeah, and it just that's where it went from one-man project to band. Was it around 2018? Is that right, Asaph?
I came in, you asked me in October of 2018, and then I think we officially got together probably like March of 2019.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So, and that's where it went from there.
Okay. Well, I just saw your albums, and can you you both how you identify the sound of Symphony?
Well, and Asaph's going to love this. He loves my genre tag for this. It's melodic blackened death metal, because it's kind of all of the above. It's a little bit more melodic than traditional blackened death metal, and this last album has really gone more in the like mellow death way. But there's elements of all of it. There's elements of black metal, elements of death metal, mellow death. So it's just kind of like, we'll just put that word together and make sure it's rolls off the tongue at least a little bit. So I mean, you could say melodic death metal would, if you did a traditional genre, that would be close. You know,
I would say that there are certainly elements of technical death metal and progressive death metal in there and stuff like that, but I mean, we're not that talented, so we don't like that.
Truer words have never been said. There you go.
I will call you and melodic black death metal. Okay.
There we go. Yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, I have in my hands the last release of the band. These here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I will
Look at that.
I will try to read the correct. Is Ordo Auron Archaea. I don't know how to pronounce it.
That's it.
What's the concept of this album? Is Latin, right? Is Latin. Ordo Auron Archaea is Latin.
Latin or Greek?
It's Latin.
It is it. Okay, it might be a mix of the two. Honestly, I can't remember at this point. We've had this going on for so long, and I tend to forget things yesterday. But the concept of it is there's something called the Golden Order of the Almighty, which the band Pantocrator. Oh, that's very cool.
Oh,
Look at that. The
that
band.
strange.
Yes. The band Pantocrator has delved into the ideas and themes behind that before, and we wanted to continue on with that. And it is it's a good way to explore church history, world history, parables and lessons and stories and things like that. We have found it's a very good way to be able to do that. And really in another way, you could we've had a lot of questions about like the imagery on the album cover and things like that. And it's a very good way to invert the argument from what people would think. Like, oh, there's an all-seeing eye on there. Well, I mean, a lot of people consider that like Masonic and things, and I understand that. I get that, but. Like, let's reframe the argument here. Who truly is all-seeing?
It's the inverted cross kind of.
Exactly. Yes. It's that same type of way of like, no, we're not going to accept the cultural norm explanation of all these things because I'm just not going to. We're going to change the conversation. So it's a way to do that.
Well. I am Brazilian, and I heard, and there was a cover of the album by Sepultura.
Yes.
Wow, Sepultura. How did the idea of recording this song come about?
I think that was me. Nomad is my favorite Sepultura song. There's just something about it, the grit that makes you just draws you in, and it's just really heavy. As far as like theme goes, I think it fits kind of well. with what we're going for with the Golden Order. There's a lot of talk about kind of tribalism, and I think you can kind of fit that into the narrative of what we're doing. But as far as how it came about, we want to pay respect to the bands that we've listened to since we were young, and so there was talk of, I mean, we threw a bunch of names out there, but Sepultura just happened to be the one that stuck, and I think we kind of, I don't know if it was a conscious decision to choose a song that a bunch of bands hadn't already covered before, like Refuse to Resist or Territory, or Territory. We just decided, hey, let's do something else. So
yeah, and I love he was thinking of that, and I love the idea, and it's like, let's do it, man.
Yeah. And I mean, on the last album, we covered Death's Flesh and the Power It Holds, just because, once again, it kind of fit with the theme, and we just love that song. So it's we kind of have to think about theme now going forward, is what I'm realizing.
Right, we can speak. This version is the best of the original verse, no?
Ah, yes. Yeah, it was a good time. It really was.
Are you doing any tours to support this new album, to shows in USA or no?
I'm gonna let Mason take that one to start with, because we've been having lots of conversations.
Yeah, we can't really tour as a band right this second, just with work schedules and things like that. But as far as booking shows, we've been I've been hitting it pretty hard as far as getting shows, trying to get them lined up. Anyways, that's always been a difficult matter for us to do. But we're looking to hit it pretty hard this next year. So as far as at least as far as like domestic shows.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can come to Brazil.
Well, we would love to. We really would. We would.
About the bands or festivals, shows, places to the metal bands for you to play. Are there still many events, I meant, of this audience or not?
I don't think there's venues, but a lot of the times, especially for our style of metal, a little bit more of that European traditional, not core, not blast, not all breakdowns. There's not that many bands even in the U.S. that do it.
No.
And that's what we've discovered, because we've looked, trying to hook up with them, and it's just not, there's not that many proportionately to everything else. You can get shows, and you can get a good amount of people to come out. It's just, it's very saturated with a lot of bands that don't fit with us, and a lot of people just don't, they're going to book the hardcore or the deathcore band before they book us. It's just how it's been working out.
I don't think it's specific to the European bands. I think it's mostly like there's not a lot of extreme metal artists here in the U.S. and the few that have made it big tend to stay to with other extreme metal bands that have made it, so they don't come out and play with the vocals anymore. But as far as like local promoters, I think they see hardcore, metalcore, deathcore as kind of this surefire way to get an audience there, whereas with artists like us, it would be more of a risk, and I don't know why that is. I don't think we've ever had poor reception at a show as far as our performance, but I don't know. It's just something strange that we don't get. There's opportunities, but we just don't get asked to participate.
It looks like Brazil is the same thing. Well, do you suffer any prejudice due to this band theme because contain a Christian message?
Oh yeah. Oh man, yeah. Boy, how much time you got there, buddy? Yeah. No, I mean, okay, so like people who know us.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the people that plays with us in the band isn't even a Christian. He knows who we are. He's a great friend of ours. He plays with us, and we're calling him basically, under the radar, back with us, kind of full time. We just haven't made a big deal of it, but he was with us. He knew what we were all about, didn't mind it, and he just liked to play the music. So the people who know us well tend to, connect with us and things like that. You get some online comments and things of that nature, some comments online and things like that have kind of like, oh, they're Christian, oh, whatever, like that. But I don't know. I'd say the bigger problem is that people just don't know who we are.
That's mostly it. Yeah. Although there have been a few. I don't want to go too deep into it, but we've been kicked off at least one show.
Oh, let's just go for it. Who cares at this point? Yeah, let's go for it. Why? It don't matter at this point. Yeah.
We were kicked off a show for being a Christian band last year. Or this year. I'm sorry. That was this year.
Yeah, it was for Deicide. We were supposed to play with Deicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were just like, hey, they offered us the show. I'm like, for 30 minutes, that's my stage.
We just saw it as an opportunity to play, honestly.
Yeah, I don't care.
We're not like, we don't go and, how do you say it? We are not like Bible, like we are Bible thumpers, but not quite in that derogatory, the derogatory meaning of it. Like, we're not Striper. We don't preach like every show kind of thing. We will talk if people are interested,
But people know when we come in. They obviously know enough of us coming in. We don't even have to be there, and they'll kick us off the show because they know we're Christian.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of strange, but
so it's like we have a reputation preceding us.
A little bit.
That we don't even have to go in and preach a sermon. And that's what I'm saying. For me, when I get on that stage, it's for 30 minutes. It's me and that microphone and whatever God wants me to say or do. And I don't care who else is playing. For 30 minutes, that's our time. And we have just as much of a right to do it as everybody else. Mm-hmm. And we'll do it if we get the opportunity. Because, why would I be afraid to play alongside somebody else? I'm not playing alongside them. They're playing after me.
Yeah.
You're also coming to see me, too. So, kind of like the Areopagus or the marketplace, in a way.
Congratulations to this attitude. Well, guys, what are the band's main social networks? Anyone who wants to know a little more about your work, about Symphony of Heaven?
That would be our Instagram is our primary means of communication. I think it's Symphony_of Heaven. We also have a Discord. We do use Facebook, although maybe not as much as we should. What else do we have? TikTok?
We do have a TikTok, yes.
TikTok.
And we do post on there pretty well consistently, as much as any other. We have a YouTube at Symphony of Heaven.
Yeah.
So
Bandcamp, that's the best way.
Here in Brazil, we say TikTok in Tiki-Toki.
Tiki-Toki, yeah.
It's very funny. Guys, I would like to say thank you so much for this little interview. It's very cool. It's a very cool interview. It's very funny too. Could you leave you both your final considerations and your thanks?
Yes. Well, thank you once again for having us on this show. It's been a great time, great talk. I hope we are able to talk more later on and just to get to know the more people in the great country of Brazil. Until we all meet face to face, God willing, one of these days, the Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine on you, and establish the work of your hands.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on. Everybody who's watching, thank you for watching. We hope to see you in the future. And yeah, thank you for all your support so far. And God bless.
Thank you so much. God bless you.